Welcome back to Team Fast Eddy and HPI Baja Tutorials.com. Today we're going to address page number 36 in the HPI Baja SS manual. We're going to install the rear sway bar, and we're also going to prepare a couple of the rear bulkhead braces, roll bar braces for installation on the next page. Let's go ahead and grab your bag G, and according to the directions we're going to use the black sway bar. So let's go ahead and place that on our workbench, and we're going to file the rest of bag G away. We are also going to need to pull out your two bags marked 85-422, bag 1 and 2, and out of that we're going to take piece number 11, which is on the end here, and it's this little piece right here. So let's go ahead and take those off of our tree, put them in our parts bucket, and seal the bag up, because there are an amount of loose parts in here that we don't want to get lost. And we're going to go ahead and do the same for the second bag and remove the part 11, place it in our tray. We are also going to need to get your parts tree number 85-420, which is this unit right here, and let's go ahead and grab our rear brace off of here, and do need to cut it. It is a fairly thick piece and does not break off very easily, and we're going to go ahead and trim off the tree spurs on that. Going to file the rest of the tree back away. And then we're also going to grab the two tree number 85-438s, and we're going to grab the rear L bracket alpha here. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. And I do believe that that is the last remaining part on this tree, so we can go ahead and get rid of those trees. And as long as we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and trim off our spars from the tree and get this piece ready for installation. Going to do the same to the second part. We are done with the trees, so we can go ahead and dump that into the garbage and trim the spars off. That should do it for the pieces and parts that we're going to need. The first part that we're going to do here is to install the sway bar itself onto the rear. So we're going to grab the two small little units that we took off the tree. I believe those were part number 11. And there are also two flathead or beveled screws that are left that are fairly slim and fairly short. Let's go ahead and grab those. We're going to go ahead and mount them onto the rear bulkhead, and on the rear bulkhead itself there are only two holes left that have yet to be filled, and those are these two holes right here. Let's go ahead and grab one of the units, it doesn't matter which one, and we're going to insert the screw into the unit and screw that in. We're just going to actually just start the threads. I'm going to put it in, just start the thread just a little bit, and actually we can't do that. We can do that on the fronts but not the rears. Let's go ahead and grab our sway bar, and the sway bar fits into the small little groove that's in here, so we're going to grab the sway bar and we're going to hold it in there and then insert it and go ahead and tighten up the screw. We're going to go ahead and repeat that same process on the second side. Just like so. Go ahead and snug it up, and at this point this is what it's going to look like. You're going to see that the sway bar is somewhat loose in there. You're going to see two little holes, one on each bracket down here. And what we need to do is insert two set screws, one in each hole. And we're going to tighten those down to remove some of the back and forth play out of the sway bar, the front and back play. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and grab our little set screw and we're going to place it on our Allen wrench, and very simply just self-taps itself in. At this point, what I'm going to do is grab onto the sway bar, and I'm just going to use my finger and pop it up and down and just keep wiggling it. As I screw in the set screw, there's going to be a point as to where it grabs the sway bar and starts to bind it a little bit. From there, you want to back it off about 1/16 of a turn so that it's not binding and you still get a little bit of play in there, but not much. So just about 1/16 of a turn so that you still have a little bit of movement in your sway bar. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process on the second side. And again, I'm just going to wiggle the sway bar as I tighten it up until it binds. And then when it does bind, I'm going to back it off about 1/16 of a turn until it drops so that we still have some play in there. Let's go ahead and grab our Loctite. There are two more set screws, some small ones. They're the same size. We're going to put them on our wrench. Go ahead and use a little bit of Loctite, and we're going to insert these set screws into the holes on the top of the ball cups. There's one on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and simply just start them in without tightening them all the way down. Just going to go ahead and get them about a turn or two in. Going to repeat the same process on the second side. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of the ball ends, and I'm going to lift up the sway bar and then slide the end onto the sway bar. Just go ahead and slide it in, push it all the way in, and hold it with your thumb or your finger. I'm going to turn the set screw on this so it's easily accessible from the back, like so. Go ahead and tighten that up. You don't want to strip it out, but you do need to make sure that it is snug. Then we're going to go ahead and repeat this process on the second side to complete the installation of our sway bars. You do want to make sure that it's all the way pressed in, and then tighten them up. Just like so. Now we have the installed sway bars. Go ahead and operate your suspension. Make sure nothing is binding up. Make sure that your sway bar is free and not binding. And then also want to make sure that it doesn't have too much play back and forth in it. If it does, again, you're going to want to tighten or loosen the little set screws. That's it for installing the sway bars. The last step on page number 36 is to go ahead and prepare these three units. Let's go ahead and, just like we've done with all the rest, and go ahead and press the nuts into these. We have one on each one of the rear L-shaped braces. See if we can't get these in. There we go. Just like so. If you need to, you can use your nut insertion tool or a pair of pliers to squeeze them down in. And then we're going to go ahead and turn the brace over, and there are actually three places to put nuts, but we're only going to, at this point, put the nut into the two units on the end where it's a C here. Just one here and one here. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up for page number 36 in the HPI Baja SS manual.